Why, hello there, my friends. It's Admiral Revan here. Hope you're all doing well. And today is a bit of a special one. This video is in regarding to the most common question was being thrown at me. What is the difference between a CC program and a Supertest program? What is beneficial about between the two different programs, and what's the cons about it, and everything like that. Well, today I'm giving you the answers, and pretty much I will do this in a way of my own opinion, my own views about it, so that you understand what you're facing about either program and what is more beneficial for you. I had people out there who had been asking me day in day out, asking me about, like, you know, what should I be doing as a streamer or content creator, and for my own enjoyment and entertainment purposes. And I said to them, it's like, look, it comes down to your own enjoyment of the game, how you want to support the franchise, and what is important to you. Now, there are people out there, I know, that have been working hard to become a community contributor amongst many others out there, and I understand that. I think that's great, and you have a good passion behind it, which is, I think it's awesome. All right. But what is important behind this story is for you to understand that everyone here starts off somewhere, and that is more important. So I will talk more about in regarding to the pros and cons of the program that you'll be with and what you'll be dealing with and everything, so that you understand what you'll be facing in the near future. There's a lot of things that you have to take in and understand from different perspectives. And please note that everything I'll be showing here will subject to change in the near future. So let's just start off with the basics here. So you're jumping on into the World of Warships homepage. It's all fine and dandy. There's a lot of information on there, and you notice that as you scroll down here that you can see like the programs, like for example the community contributor program. Now, the community contributor program is where you're known as a representative of the franchise for World of Warships. In this case, you are the face of World of Warships, what you're representing, the game, the content, everything that's in it at the moment. Pretty much when I say this, you're pretty much saying that I love the game, I enjoy the game, I also hate the game, but at the same time that I wish things could be better, etc. and so forth, right? Now, the biggest thing about it all is that you as a streamer and content creator, you can do it in your own way, how you want to promote the franchise or criticize the franchise in your own way. And the thing is that as long as it's not slanderous behavior or anything that is deemed very negative, Wargaming will always appreciate constructive feedback from its viewers, players, everything, so on and so forth. However, what is important is that what you do create is the content to your own extent of enjoyment. Like, for example, like I'm creating content of how we play CVs or carriers better in the game. Well, that's great. All right. But at the same token, though, you are also creating content that is made for you to last in the long term, where you're hoping that your viewers will come back to you and actually understand what you're in for, what you're trying to promote, what you're trying to teach, and so on and so forth. For me, I love teaching people how to not to do certain things. Like, for example, overextending, YOLOing in, or forgetting the most common mechanics, like for example the ramming flag or the detonation flag and things like that in the game. But for me, when I teach people how to play World of Warships, I try my best to educate people with the mentality that we're an average player having fun and we're here to enjoy ourselves. That is more important. Now, as a community contributor, you can do a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that I want to tell you about it. And biggest thing about it is recognition of the franchise, recognition about what you do and so forth. There's a lot of things that you can do, can't do, and all the above. I think that your opinions have been valid, along with a few other things about how you want to promote the franchise, but also give the constructive feedback where it's due. And I'll go in lengths about that in a moment here. You also can become a partner of the whole franchise, and you can actually make sure that you maintain a very regular schedule, at the same time that make sure you always proactively engage with your audience, and at the same time understand that it's more important for you to understand and respect people's different viewpoints, even though you wholeheartedly disagree with it. And what's important is that sometimes you need to be very careful about your own opinions of how you share things live stream, because it can bite you. I will say this. There is a legalized document for content creators out there that you have to be careful about what things you do advertise on there, what information you're trying to promote, and things like that. Be very careful about what you do. Make sure you read this inside and out so that you understand what you're going on. You have to be very careful about any sign of hateful language or discrimination to other people as well, because I know that there are people out there that do not like certain people's behaviors and stuff like that, and you have to again be very, very vigilant of what you say on your stream. That is very important. And it is and can be a violation on certain streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, for example. They have certain legalized documentation of what is protected by the streamer, but it's at the same time that a company has the right to actually legally take you into certain context and say, hey, look, you're doing this wrong. If you continue this up, we can take you to a legal court and things like that, and that's where you want to avoid it. And that's the biggest thing about it all, is that you want to avoid that kind of stuff. It's really serious stuff. Now, with that being said, though, I mean, like, the CC program in general is actually pretty beneficial. The biggest benefit about being a CC is that you actually get some cool gear, like this, for example. You get like the community contributor flag with some bonuses, as well as the emblems, the symbols, recognition about who and what you are, which is pretty cool. You also get some giveaway packages for containers and stuff like that to give away. Also some subscriber camo, and the community contributor camos are for yourself, which is pretty awesome. At the same time that the information that's on here, please have a read, because it's pretty full on, and it's well worth it. Just remember that you're gonna be enjoying something that's pretty cool. Just remember that there are certain things on there that you can't do. Definitely read that. It is very important for you to understand. What is my personal opinion about the CC program? It's good, generally speaking. It's fun. You can definitely get to know a lot of things about the program. You get to meet a lot of people around the world, other community contributors, as well as the wargaming staff. You get also to talk to the developers. Generally speaking, you get to know everyone, really, and it's a big family. That's pretty much in a nutshell. So that is one of the biggest things about it all. The biggest thing about it, and in the CC program, there is a bit of a nutshell. When you see an application form like this, you basically do read it, understand like what is the requirements and stuff like that for YouTube. A monthly average of 300 or more views per video stream, with the past like 90 days. Same with Twitch, but Twitch requires 30 viewers, so there's a big difference. Make sure that even though you do meet the requirements and criteria, you have to remember to always promote your franchise and change your content a lot, and that is the biggest thing about it all. And this is where I start talking about the SuperTest Academy side of things. Now, what is the SuperTest Academy? Alright, so the SuperTest Academy is basically you do a course like a school, like as if you're in school, in university or college, wherever you want to put it. Basically, you have a period of 3 days or a week, depending how long the course is. You sit down there and just do the course for X amount of days just to get your certificate. You learn how to do troubleshooting, bug testing, other things that you get to know what is required of you for the role of super testing. The information of that is actually pretty self-explanatory. When you actually go onto the the forums like this, you'll see like there's a lot of requirements for the SuperTest program. Please read it very carefully, because one of the requirements is you have to have X amount of battles on your tier 10 ships, over at least 100 battles, and at the same time that there are other prerequisites that you need to do on the lead up to the program, and I think it's very good. So it is understandable that when you're doing this sort of thing, you get to learn the ins and outs of what you can say and can't say. That's part of the NDA, and NDA is a non-disclosure agreement, and I will go in more depth with that with you soon. However, one thing I like to point out though is that once you get the the Academy certificate and you graduated, that means you can apply for becoming a super tester. Now, super testing is really beneficial. I will go that in more length with you about what's it mean for you. But notice that you got like 5 very important questions here. One of them is your certificate, which you get out of the way by doing the Academy course, okay? The other one is basically is asking about, did you have an experience about testing games and stuff like that? It's a simple yes or no answer. If you do say yes, feel free to explain it. If you do say no, but you have some sort of experience of doing, PTS, for example, that is very beneficial for you. Now, in terms of detailed answering questions and why you want to become a super tester, you can go in length about how come and why. Like, for example, you're very passionate about the game or franchise, you want to help out the community, beneficial in the community, make it a better place and stuff like that. That's great. Okay. The other things that you could say about why you want to become a super tester is simply that you want to go for an experience. You want to learn something new, get the understanding about the game mechanics of the game and things like that. That's great, some people just have this mentality that becoming a super tester is just to test new ships and toys. Well, everyone loves that, come on. But you have to understand, super testing is a little bit more involved in that. And then pretty much typically speaking that there's a time period, so schedule or talk about. And then here is the biggest thing about all. A question here is that are you a volunteer in another World of Warships team? If so, which one? Then that one there is it something that you have to answer very, very carefully, because there are some things that I have found out that I need to share with you. So let's go that in length and talk about the pros and the cons about the program. So here's the pros of the CC program. It's great rewards for your hard work. So as a streamer, a content creator, you're streaming on a regular basis. You're having fun with your friends, making new friends, and enjoying the content you present. And your hard work goes without any notice, because you get some great rewards. You're going to get some doubloons or some other bundles, and also test ships to play with, which is fun. Test ships though, you can't show test ships on the stream to play them as you play them, okay? Years ago, apparently, went from other experience and watching this happen before, they used to do it, but they don't anymore. That's the biggest difference that you see, from observation. But in terms of you being a CC, you have the opportunity to give your constructive feedback to the wargaming staff, the developers, and share your thoughts and vent it out with other community contributors about what's going on in the game and everything like that, or what's in progress and stuff like that. Remember that everything is bound by NDA, and you have to be very careful of what you can and can't say. Especially remember that you are very much so the face of World of Warships as a person who's representing the franchise, and you're the face of that franchise right there. Remember that the giveaways are very important to you as a community contributor, because you'll be do a lot of giveaways like subscriber camos and also CC containers. But at the same token, though, there are some good rewards. And pretty much when you hit milestones, you're going to get some good rewards to give back to the community. And same thing with anniversaries and birthdays as well. Without going into detail about what is said about that, that is pretty much a good example to you understanding what it means to be a content creator and getting something out of it too. So it's very nice. The biggest thing is about representation on the server that you're playing on. Like, for example, if you're playing on the Southeast Asia server, or the EU or NA or the CIS servers, you get recognized for what you do. The Supertest program is pretty much a similar idea to the CC program, where you get recognition, which is cool. The Academy course helps you understand what is to be expected of you, and that's very true, because you learn how to do bug testing, understand the mechanics of the game, and other things about what they're looking for and what they want to do with you in the program. Testing warships to provide feedback, and that's very important to take it to the next level. And also getting to know the other super testers, the curators, the people who run the program, as well as the wargaming staff, as well as the developers. And you might get some good rewards out of it. And unfortunately, I cannot get any information about that, because simply I don't know what kind of rewards you could get. But from the grapevine, from what I've heard, you get something nice for your time in a way. And that's pretty cool. Now, there's a bit of a downside to this, and it's actually pretty much, again, summarize it for you, what the downside of this is, and you pretty much be very surprised what it is in the end. The downside for both programs is that you have NDA agreements. You can't pretty much tell your friends or tell your dog, your mom, your dad, your wife, your kids, or your husband, or anything like that, about what you really do about it. Aside from the fact that you play World of Warships and you stream the game, and you're a representer. You can say that I'm a Supertester. You can say that you're a community contributor, but you cannot talk about the NDA things, and that's very important for you to understand. With the one biggest thing about the Supertest program is the schedule, and the attendance is important. So if you can't show up, there probably will be lenient at one point, but if you continue not to show up, and then for different reasons, like for example, if you had a lot of real life issues going on and stuff like that, then you have to take care of it. But if you can't show up on a regular basis, then there's no point in being there part of the program. That's what they're trying to say. The thing is that you have to make time where it's due to help out for a program like this, and do what is expected of you, and to do the bug testing and other things, and make sure you do it correctly. Now, if you're a CC already and you want to become a super tester, the answer is no. You cannot apply to become a super tester. The funny thing is that when you want to be a CC and you're already a super tester, you have to neglect the super test responsibilities in order to inherit the CC stuff. That's basically you saying, I'm going to step down from super testing, I'm going to try and apply for CC, and if I get it, I'll just, neglect my responsibilities of being a super tester and become a full-time CC. And believe it or not, being a CC has more benefits than as being a super tester. But there is limits, like of how many can be on there and stuff like that. But at the same token, it's all about you helping the franchise. The biggest thing that I have noticed is that if you're a CC, you have to be careful of your viewership and always meet its requirements at all times on your streams. Because if your viewership has dived down a bit, I know from a different perspective, I've heard stories with other people out there that they go like, "Oh, your viewership has dived down, and what's going on?" That's the biggest thing about it all. They will start asking you questions, and you'll be wondering how come and why. And then Wargaming will be asking you questions about what's going on with your channel and community and everything. And then you have to start pick up your A game. And this is where a bit of desperation comes into play, because the worst case scenario for anyone to lose all their hard work and everything is when the viewers just toss up and leave a streamer, and that is pretty bad. It's really bad. You always have to make sure you keep your content up to date and maintain a schedule. Even though it is a bit of a mixture of pro and con for that comment, unfortunately it's more a bit of a 50-50, and the reason behind that is because that the streamer has to really push their content every week, every day, something a little bit different, better, or anything like that, but at the same time maintain a solid schedule. Now, I have noticed that even myself, that if work or real life events get in my way and people will start to, the viewership numbers have dropped a fair bit, that means that obviously that you're not doing a consistent thing of maintaining that schedule. That is very important for you to understand. There are people out there who have been maintaining a schedule, have been doing the right thing and everything like that. Well, that's pretty much in a nutshell. So yes, that's a bit of a pro and con behind it. So that is pretty much it, what it means to be on a CC program and a SuperTest program. Just understand this, folks. I mean, like, both programs have their pros and cons. Both programs, have a lot of good things and bad things. But that is be disheartened. I mean, like, they definitely have a lot of good things about it on both sides. But what's really important about it all is for you to have fun. That is really important for you. If you definitely are unsure about, which path you want to go with, and you want to talk to somebody offline, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than willing to help you, to talk to you about it, and put you in the right direction. If SuperTest and also the CC program is not meant for you, you always can do something different, and that is called the World of Warships Privateer program. The Privateer program is definitely a very well recognized program where you can be event organizers, wiki editors, moderators on the forums, to other things that you can do to add and contribute towards the World of Warships community. Definitely reach out to the community managers and let them know you're interested. And this is, like a patch and also something like that to get yourself recognized. I think that this is a great way for you to get to know people, and the privateer program could be meant for you. But remember that everything that I've been shown on here is subject to change. The information always will be updated in the near future, But if you want to express your interest in that sort of thing, feel free to reach out to community managers and stuff like that, and they will point you on the right direction. But until then, my friends, it's been wonderful to catch up with you. So that is the gist of it, with the difference between a CC program and a Supertest program. Hope that helps, but at the end of the day, it's all about you having fun and doing what you want to do and enjoy. Until then, stay safe, take care, have a good one.